Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lesson 10. But before I get into that, I have some special news. I just managed to get my first ever produced demo reel this week, and I'm so stoked with how it turned out that I wanted to let you know where to get one yourself. If you are in the market for a demo reel but don't have the facility or the cash for $2,500 for one, Mike Paine has an amazing budget-friendly option that can help you get your voiceover career started quickly. He's voiced thousands of commercials and video games over his 40-year career. So if you want a vocal coach to show you the ropes or need someone who can help you produce a demo reel, go and check out his website and social media pages to get in contact with him. Remember, demo reels are supposed to get better as you progress, and some places will try to scam you out of your $2,000. Always strive to be better, research who to trust, and the quality will follow. Ask Mike about his prices, and I'm sure you'll be blown away by what you can afford without breaking the bank. If you want to hear one of my reels, I'll be posting them alongside this video today, so check them out if you want to hear the kind of work he can produce for you. Thanks again, Mike, for your patience and working so hard on this. I'm excited for what this may bring. Okay, so today's lesson is a very important lesson because it could determine whether or not you can achieve your dreams right now. This moment is the pinnacle where you get to decide whether voice acting is something you want to do or not. You've been practicing the voices, learning the genres, and figuring out how to build businesses and get decent roles. And today, I want to go over some of the questions you may have about voice acting and some of the myths and the concerns regarding it. From AI taking over the industry to wondering if you have the right voice. I'm going to cover it in this lesson. But as we go, I want you to think about this. Is voice acting something that you want in your life? Is it something that you actually enjoy doing? Because the answers to these will get you through the most difficult parts of voice acting. You won't be able to push through and achieve your dream if you do not have something solid that will keep you motivated through the tough times. So I want you to think about what motivates you. In my vocal booth, I have a special sticky note that I keep up in front of me at all times. It says, Motivations for VO. I keep it there so it can remind me of why I am pursuing a career in voice acting. It comes as a numbered list. Ever since I became disabled, I haven't been able to do things physically that I used to, nor the things that I've been wanting to do. I miss a lot of things in my life that used to be, and I often think about what life could have been without the sickness. Which means I'm limited in a lot of things. The good news is I still have my voice, for now, and voice acting is something that has always been really cool and magical to me. And until I became disabled, I actually didn't think it was a possibility to pursue it as a career. Now this sickness has forced me to open the door to a dream that I didn't even consider to be a possibility. So in that regard, I want you to know that if you choose to chase your dream, the only thing that is stopping you is your fear of failure of the unknown. It's what causes me to procrastinate and what gets me through the next milestone, even when I'm voice acting, is having something simple like an achievable goal or a checkbox that allows me to be able to take the next step. Sure, it may not be as big as some other steps at times. Sometimes it may just be grinding it out. But even the little steps eventually turn into miles of progress. So what gets me through these tough times are these reminders that are on this sticky note. Number 1, I wanted a solid work-from-home job that paid well that I could do within my limitations. Because my limitations are very specific, I need a schedule that is very open. And I really enjoyed contract work because that meant I didn't have to work from 9 to 5. I could work whenever I wanted and earn as much money as I desired. That, and I was able to rest whenever I decided that I needed it. Home is the one place that I can do all of that. It's where I have my emergency supplies on hand whenever I need to get to them. And voice acting solves all of those problems. Now, number 2 on this list kind of goes along with number 3. I wanted a group that I could belong to be able to help others in that group. But I also wanted to be helpful and a good influence to others on a bigger scale, outside of that group. One of the things that gave me purpose in life when I first got sick was joining social media groups that had other people with rare illnesses that were also trying to find answers too. We would compare and contrast and refer each other to good doctors, and it eventually led us to answers. Well, those of us that made it anyway. I soon realized that life doesn't really feel fulfilling unless you're giving back to it in some way, especially when you've hit rock bottom. I wanted something that keyed into that. One of the things that I like doing is I love telling stories, but more than that, I love experiencing stories that have morals to them. With so many TV shows and video games nowadays just doing slop content, it makes me wonder why anybody tells a story if there's no truth or moral to the story. What then is even the importance of the story if there's nothing real to learn? If it doesn't make you feel something important, or question the actions or the results of the characters in the story, or if you can't relate to the characters, then why tell the story? Stories allow us to learn, to heal, to understand, and to become better than the person we were a day before without having to learn the lesson the hard way. I think that's why I enjoy self-improvement and religious medias. A voice actor's job is to connect people to those important things in the story, and the most important stories are often the ones that are real and have been recorded in like a journal with life lessons and real experiences and real thoughts and feelings. But often people see these histories as boring or nothing of value, and they prefer not to read or hear them, which I think is sad because those are the truest stories and life lessons that have actually happened, not fiction. Stuff you can get directly from the source without having to go through the difficult experience yourself, and cautionary lessons to help you live a better life. If I could find a way to do this, I could leave behind a legacy to help others that I could be proud of, which leads me to number 4 on the list, a meaningful legacy. Number 5 is a job that I actually enjoy. I probably don't have to tell you that there are jobs that people hate. My worst job was a job at a grocery store. After only working there for 2 years, there was a time I woke up every day in the morning in tears. No joke, dreading the thought of having to put on the uniform and go back into work. This was due to a lot of drama, a lot of cutthroat mind games, backbiting, the repetitive tasks, and the anger and the thankless attitudes that pervaded that workplace. It made you feel like crap. In stark contrast, the happiest job that I ever had was actually one in construction. Sure, it was hard and tough work, but I always enjoyed being able to build something and to be able to solve unique problems. Sure, the coworkers were a lot more salty, dangerous, and aggressive than the ones I had worked with before, but I was learning so many new skill sets and mathematics that I could see how much more fully I was actually living life. More so than some of my friends hating their lives at a minimum wage food franchise. On top of that, I got to meet many interesting people and hear fascinating life stories from all walks of life. So many people with so many stories and so many life lessons to learn. I absolutely loved my job in construction. The first and foremost of all of that was my ability to get things done was what was valued. Not who won the game of gossip or the social corporate ladder somewhere in a company. People actually wanted me, and they would choose me over others because I could do the things no one else could be trusted with. That made me feel super valued, and it blew my mind every time somebody thanked me for a job well done. After doing voice acting for a year now, I can honestly say there is a lot of similarities and a lot of potential in voice acting that I could enjoy. I just need to find the right genres that hold value for me, and the merits and the quality of work I put in will determine whether or not I'm successful. Not somebody else with a chip on their shoulder or an agenda. It will be up to me to decide to sink or swim. I can choose who I work for, what pay and when, and if I end up picking a job that makes me feel the guilt of being a sellout, then it was my own fault for accepting it. Voice acting gives me the freedom to choose the work that I want that's aligned with my beliefs and my values, and I get to decide who I want to be. The last half of the sticky note is the motivations that give me fear. Why? Because it's important to diagnose where the fear is coming from, and fear can be just as powerful a motivator just as it can be a demotivator. Want an example? Have you ever felt the fear of being broke before? Not being able to pay the next bill? Or have enough money for your next medication? That's my fear. I don't ever want to be poor again. And I don't ever want to feel that feeling of helplessness ever again. Not if I have a say in it. And number 2, I don't ever want to feel the helplessness of not being able to work for myself ever again. I never want to feel the feeling of losing my freedom and my independence over my own life ever again. Now, that's not to say that somebody couldn't take that from me at any given moment, or that life won't throw me another curveball and I'll end up worse or even paralyzed. But if it's in my realm of control, I want to be able to have that control over my life again. I want to wrest it back from the jaws of defeat. So I'll say this again. What is it that motivates you to get into voice acting? Is it powerful enough as these reasons, or is it less? Are your motivations ones powerful enough to get you through the difficult things? Will they be at the back of your mind as you're doing reads? Or are they ones as fickle as just being famous? In order to stay in voice acting, at least from a beginner's perspective, I would say that you have to have a hunger for constant self-improvement, a curiosity or desire to learn new complicated things, and the ability to handle difficult critique and feedback and keep going. And yes, this includes being unpopular and handling rejection. If you have these traits, or you can learn to develop them, I think you could have a solid shot at being a voice actor, career-wise. If not, maybe it would be better for you to just do it as a hobby or wait until you're more mature, and do it somewhere later on down the road. But my goal with this channel is to get you doing voice acting as a professional. By now, you've probably asked yourself if you're even capable of building a vocal booth. Perhaps you've asked yourself if you even have the money to be able to pursue voice acting. Or maybe you just have too much anxiety, or maybe some other condition that prevents you from doing it as much as you wish. In regards to that, I'd like to tell you a secret. I didn't start out with any of that going for me. Do you think I knew how to build a vocal booth before I got started? Do you think I had the funds just to dive into it? Do you think I had the voice acting skills or knew how to record audio, let alone even edit it? No, I didn't know how to do any of those things. I had to learn it myself and learn it from others that could help me, and also from tutorial videos like this that you're watching now. And I'm still learning a ton. And even then I had to figure them out and try them in order to even begin practicing. And even then I had to get over my stage fright of standing up in front of a bunch of people and performing like an idiot, and I did! And it was as simple as just going out and doing it. I should also add that during this time, when I did any public speaking, it took an insane amount of effort for me just to stand up. There were honestly several times where I thought that I was going to collapse right in front of an audience, and I was in a wheelchair at the time, just trying to stand up by myself in a recording booth. Which I was alone in, by the way. I had no one inside the booth to catch me if I fell. There's expensive equipment in there too. Add panic attacks, hypoglycemia, and bouts of passing out, you can bet I was terrified out of my mind just even thinking about leaving the house. But I did it anyway. I made it to the car, I made it into the class, and I made it into the recording booth and back to the safety of my home. Why? Because I wanted more out of my life. So what do you want out of your life? Being on this road and becoming a voice actor is not an easy one. Nothing worth doing ever is, though. But that doesn't mean that the funds can't grow over time to allow you to buy better equipment later. And it doesn't mean that you can't ask others for help along the way, or that you can't find ways around the obstacles that can get you to the next milestone or even just the next baby step. All that matters is your determination to see it through. Your ability to want to get things done and to get through the grind. There's no one stopping you but you. I've heard of voice actors that do voice acting in secret because their family makes fun of them. Where there's a will, you can find a way. The only thing in your way is your ability and desire to solve the next problem. Now, in regards to obstacles, there's a pretty big one in the community right now, and that's AI. You name it, I've heard it from all sorts of different voice actors. There's famous ones that say AI will take their jobs, and there's many non-famous ones that say AI can never take their jobs, and vice versa. So what's the difference? It's the genres that they work in. As AI gets more powerful, it gets more complex and better at its job. But currently, so are the regulations and laws regarding AI. Sure, it's kind of slow to roll out, but this year, it's been quite the hateful year in regards to AI. Even people who like AI are getting fed up with it. But the majority of voice actors I've seen talk about this subject are not very worried about it at all. This is because they've built the skill sets to compete and the business to be able to thrive even with AI taking over. Which means, to beat AI, all you have to do is be better than the code. And the communities that hire voice actors seem to be pretty against AI right now too. So let that be a comfort to you. I'm not going to predict that AI won't take jobs or that it will. I'm no fortune teller. But I will say that if most of the voice actors in the industry are not super concerned about it currently, then currently it's not as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. They are letting their own fear of the unknown take over them. But just as I've said before in another video, how else are you going to fight AI other than being better than the AI program? If you want to stay relevant, you're going to need to do something better than the AI can do. That's the awful truth, but it's reality. And AI is only getting better every day. You need to work now to learn how to compete with it later down the road. If you want to win the fight against the boogeyman, you can't stay afraid of the boogeyman. If you want to win against your enemy, you have to know your enemy, inside and out, and take action. Know how to outmaneuver them. That's the same thing with anything in life. In regards to this, now is the time to make a decision. Now is the time to decide whether or not you want to be a voice actor. Decide here and now, because the rest of your life could hinge upon whether or not you move forward with this decision. You are going to be spending a lot of time building your booth, sound treating, and learning physics, and learning recording softwares, which can take months or even years. And I don't want you to have regrets of wasting all that money if you don't have the proper mindset and motivations in place to get through it. If you still don't know if voice acting is what you want to do, I would recommend auditioning if you have the equipment already, and figuring out how the process works. Interact with the people in the communities to figure out what you like, what the directors want, and what you need to send in recordings that clients expect, and what type of people you will be interacting with. If you do that, then you will have more of a solid answer as to whether voice acting is for you or not. So buckle up and get ready, because the lessons from here on out are going to require research, study, and effort on your part in order to stick with this dream of yours. There's no way around that, but I can help show you the steps and guide you on that path to get there. And hopefully, you've been saving up money, because May is now here, and you will have to start looking at equipment to buy if you don't already have some. Or unless you just got here, then feel free to start my lessons from the beginning. There's a lot of good info. Your homework this week is to come up with your own list of motivations as to why you are getting into voice acting. And if you're looking for someone who can produce a demo reel to get you started early, be sure to reach out to Mike Paine on his website and social media. Once again, I'm Tategami, and thank you so much for watching my series on how to become a voice actor this year. Thanks for watching. If you want to continue to join me on my voice acting journey, then don't forget to subscribe to me on YouTube or join my Patreon for more videos where you can hear practice reads, blooper reels, or even my experiences of getting into voice acting. Who knows, maybe you can even join this disabled guy on his journey. Thanks again, and as always, stay safe out there.